triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Hello, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio. I'm glad that you are joining me as we start off this Thursday. It's you know what, we are, what is it, how many hours away from probably another catastrophe for the debates that are going to be happening tonight, which we know is going to be most likely lopsided when we go through this day. I'm not looking forward to this, honestly, to tell you the truth. It's not going to be a good thing, folks, as we try and get through this thing. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio. I'm glad that you're listening in, and let's remove this cover photo so you can see me, and we can start the day off still sporting my amazing hat and enjoying it. Thank you, all of you who decided you wanted to join in. We're going to get this started right. If you want to, if you know by me by now, try and start my days off with American Pride Roasters coffee. Take a listen, please. That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters. Yes, American Pride Roasters Coffee. Share it out as many people as you possibly can. Again, this is a great business for coffee and a great experience for you, those of you who like waking up to that amazing Java experience. So, you know, this whole idea of remuting evil, rebuking biased indignation, where do I want to go with? Of course, I'm playing on the words of what's going to happen tonight with the unfortunate muting and suppression of whatever the president has to say. And honestly, to tell you the truth, it drives me up the wall because we shouldn't be surprised at this particular point in time. We shouldn't be surprised at this particular point in time to watch how they are, the media, the left, and countless Americans are, and sometimes many times those of us on the right, we mute evil. So as long as it meets our narrative, it helps us succeed. If winning at all costs means anything, we will do everything we can to mute any kind of a rebuke against what we're doing. I want to go back to the cover image for a second here. And the reason why I selected this is because I'm using an image here of a woman, you know, that they use those images for domestic violence. In the bottom right corner, I faded in a picture of a gentleman who's being beaten up by a woman. And as you watch this, because most of the time when we talk about domestic violence, people only want to focus on men beating up women, but no one wants to talk about women beating up on men. And, you know, and again, you know, everyone wants to blame Trump for anything that's wrong that happens in our nation, anything that's wrong that happens time and time again, especially here in Indianapolis. You had a woman you had this transgender who was killed over the weekend. And, you know, one of the things that I had said was, you know, this happens because there's a lax approach to dealing with criminals in this country, or even in the state. And you have consistent leadership that does nothing to silence the abuse, silence the evil that's taking place. And then just above that image, but everybody got on me for blaming the mayor, the Democrat mayor of Indianapolis, for what was happening. And they were like, you can't blame him for that. I'm like, but you guys blame Trump for everything. No one wants to take a look at the evil that's going on. But it gets beyond that. For me, more than anything else, in this idea of muting evil and rebuking bias indignation, is that there is this consistent oh, let me throw a bone at you, let me get you distracted and not focusing on the real issues. I think I talked about this yesterday. But it frustrates me that here we are in this, and I was talking to my buddy about this. It frustrates me that here we are in 2020. We've had so many big scandals taking place. We have Jeffrey Epstein. We have Jeffrey Epstein. Which is the biggest one of them all, because the information of Jeffrey Epstein and Pizzagate and child sex trafficking, all this stuff that we've been talking about for the longest time, and nobody is paying attention to this. We have so many distractions. We have so many squirrels that have had of us moving in different areas, and it's so annoying as we're looking at this. So I'm going to be going through, and again, I use that image because of the fact that I think a lot of the things going on the news, I think, is basically to distract us from the real evils that we learned. Because remember, in the beginning of the year, the Democrats were easy and they were quick to rush the idea of impeaching the President of the United States of America. And when that failed, then came so much more. Then came the virus. Then came this effort to derail the president being reelected. And even now, most of the people that I know who hate the president, who can't stand this president, and they hate everything that he stands for, you have to be honest and know that this pandemic was used to derail the president of the United States of America. You can't deny the reality of what's going on here in how they have sought to ruin and kill lives. And a lot of people are collateral damage if the goal is to rid the President of the United States of America. And while we're focusing on him, all our energies on his failures, we're not focusing on Jeffrey Epstein. We're not focusing on Ghislaine Maxwell. We're not focusing on the pedophilia going on in this country right now. We're not focusing on the child sex trafficking going on in this country right now. That hearing 39 children, 45 children, 126 children, all these different children, this should be national news on a daily basis. We should be publishing this data and how these children are being rescued. But no one wants to talk about this. Instead, we're going to be focusing on 1,000,001 other different things. And this is what makes me mad, because it's so selective. And again, I believe, I'm not going to lie to you, the timing of the laptop is great, but it's also a major distraction because of the fact that Hunter Biden is now going to fall on the sword for Barack Obama. Hunter Biden will fall on the sword. Hunter and Joe Biden are now the national scapegoats that takes all attention away from Obamagate. The movie just came out, was it yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago? You have this where they are busted. There's no way to get around it. And everybody's like, well, we got to deal with the president right now. We got to deal with corruption right now. We have everything that President Trump was impeached for and attacked for the last 3.5 years, or the attempted impeachment, because he never was impeached. But they wanted to impeach President Trump for what Joe Biden has clearly done. So Joe Biden and Hunter Biden are the scapegoats for Barack Obama and his corruption and Obamagate, and the fact that a former president, the previous president of the United States of America, illegally tracked and investigated not only an American citizen, but a political candidate. See, in everything that's happening this year and all the conveniences of everything that's going on right now, it mutes what happened. See, and I know the President Trump is basically saying, go after Joe Biden. It's like, no, don't lose your fervor on Obamagate. Don't take your eyes off of the real corruption. Now, granted, there are a lot of people I don't talk to anymore who think that they've got all the information, all the knowledge, all the indignation. They hate Trump. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, where are you guys? Where are you in regards to Obamagate? Don't sit here and push it to the side. Don't call it dirty politics. That's disingenuous. That's disingenuous to call it dirty politics. Shame on you. to ignore the clear, and now even now with what happens with Hunter Biden, where you have everything you need to know about Ukraine, everything you need to know, ties to Ukraine, ties to Russia, ties to China. China. And again, folks, please, we do not want Joe Biden arrested before the election. Because remember, they're going to do some crazy last second thing. Enough people have voted already. Okay? Enough people have voted already. And you know what? If at the last second they'll try and by proxy say any votes that were for Joe Biden will be for the person that they put in his place. And it shouldn't count, because if they voted for Joe Biden, that vote should be for Joe Biden and no one else. Someone said that they saw something that might have been like Clinton. I think I got an email about a Clinton-Harris ticket that was going to be out there. That this is their way of, by throwing Joe underneath the bus, they can put Clinton in this position. You don't want that. You seriously do not want that. But as I'm sitting here and I'm watching this, here's another thing I want to get into, and I need to say this. So some coward decided that they wanted to report me, said that I violated some Facebook, say that I violated some Facebook policy. Now, it's very interesting, as I got that notification that I violated a Facebook policy, I haven't been able to, I'm blocked from doing certain things on my pages and also in groups. So either jealousy, envy, or just downright lies. I've made it to the ranks of being muted by Facebook. And see, here's the thing about it that I laugh at. This is an actual honor badge. This is a badge that I can celebrate, that I've rise to the ranks of the fact that they're going to start. You guys are going to start muting me and falsely putting things out there about me. And I'm like, that's fine. That's okay. You can, and I saw a great meme that's out there. It's like, you can try and mute the president of the United States of America, but you will not mute us freedom-loving Americans. We stand up for the Constitution. We stand up for freedom and so much more. And we will stand against tyranny. You can do the best that you can to shut me down, because, again, there are certain pages and groups I can't post to for the next 2 months, because some little keyboard warrior who probably spent too much time at Dunkin' Donuts in mommy's basement, and here's the games you want to play. That's fine. Stick with your liberation critical race theology and your mamby-pamby mentality, and hide instead of actually being a man and speaking and having a real conversation. Play those games. Play all the games that you want. Understand this. You lied. You willfully lied against me. You willfully went on a campaign against me. So maybe you can hide behind Facebook. You can hide behind your preachers and your unbiblical teachers. But understand this. You can't hide from God. You can't hide from God as you sit here being your keyboard warrior and you attack and run, attack and run, attack and run. See, because here's the funny thing about it. As you feel vindicated on your attempts to try and shut me down, you've completely exposed your evil and wickedness before God. See, my thing is, there are people who say things I don't agree with, and I'm not going to shut them down from saying what they have to say. Say what you want. At the end of the day, I'm not defined by the lies that other people say about me. I'm defined by the God who saved me, and by God who saved me. The only God, the one true God, who fearfully and wonderfully made me. Look at Psalm 139, verses 13 through 18. So no matter what efforts you take to try and shut me down, and when you win, I say bravo. I say well done. I say well played. But understand this, you can't mute the evil in your own heart, and you will have to be you will be accountable for it. So enjoy your celebrate now. Enjoy. You have your prize now. And when the time comes and you stand before the throne of God, you will be questioned on this. Don't give a fake, oh God, forgive me for what I did, forgive me for what I lied against Watson, or lied against this person, or lied against this conservative, or this president, or this Republican. No, don't give a half-hearted act of contrition. Be serious about what you're doing, because we are sitting here trying to expose evil. See, you want to expose racism in America, but you don't want to talk about the racism in your heart. You don't want to talk about the racism in your pastors. You don't want to talk about the racism in the black community. Oh, because you buy that lie that only racists can be people who are in power. Well, your pastor is in a position of power. Your pastor is in a position of lording over people and basically putting their lives under his thumb of oppression. Yeah, I went there. So y'all think that you are muting the people who are exposing the lies, but I'm letting you know that you're only muting any level of righteousness, true godly righteousness in your life, because you are filled with the sin in your heart. Let's get to some of these different things that I want to talk about. Here was one I saw, Daily Mail. I'm not going to put any graphics up on this thing here. Daily Mail puts out this article where it says Trump supporters and counter protesters clash in a MAGA march in Manhattan. Now, the thing about it is that, again, I'm really starting to get sick and tired of the Daily Mail because of the fact that the way that they're doing this is they're talking about Trump supporters, but they don't want to call them Black Lives Matter. They don't want to call them Antifa. They don't want to call, because you're either evil Trump supporters or you're counter protesters. But in no way are you malevolent, no longer malevolent, Black Lives Matter or Antifa. You're freedom fighters. You remember when the media actually, instead of calling them terrorists, instead of calling them Islamic fundamentalist terrorists, they turn around and call them freedom fighters. I'm like, what? Freedom fighters? This is how you turn around and you mute the evil deeds. The evil deeds. Yeah, speaking of that, where is that article? Because of the fact that I had another article I wanted to put on here, and it was the whole idea. Here it is. Yep. I'm going to go, speaking of that. You remember how last week we had a person who was beheaded by a Muslim fundamental fanatic, extremist fanatic. He was beheaded because he showed pictures of a cartoon of Muhammad. And he was beheaded in France. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden news completely dwarfed that. Macron goes to pay visits to this. The people in Paris and France, they're tired. They're rebelling. They're now speaking up against this, and I believe that there's going to even be physical, violent attacks against the Muslim community because of the fact that they are tired of being victims. They're tired of their leadership being silent to the actual malevolence that's taking place in the government, or the indifference and apathy taking place in the government, and also the malevolence that's been taking place as they've tried to be a harbor, as they've tried to be basically a place of comfort and recovery for Islamic, refugees coming into the countries. And people are dying, people are raped, people are attacked, people are killed, and now people are beheaded. You can't argue this stuff here. When was the last time a Christian beheaded somebody because they defamed the name of Jesus? I'll give you time, and let me know when it happened. Oh, well, the Crusades. You what? You've got to go. You have to go back how many hundreds of years to find these events? You have to go back how far for this? Understand this. You guys are muting an evil that's overtaking this world, this country, this world. Joe Biden just said he's going to put, and understand this, he's pandering to the Muslim community right now. But many of you keep thinking it's okay to bring Sharia law. It's okay to bring Sharia law and have it exist in tandem with our U.S. Constitution, if not override levels of our U.S. Constitution. But the Ten Commandments can exist anyway. And understand this, and this is what blows me away, is the level of trickery and rewording in this. Because of the fact that, yes, Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life. And that is the way that it will be presented, to basically say that Islam can actually run in tandem. Sharia law can run in tandem with the Constitution, with American law, and at times, where necessary, override American laws. But we remove the Ten Commandments because of the fact that that is religion. You have a presidential candidate right now. If Donald Trump basically said, I want to bring the Ten Commandments back into this, I want to, not just Ten Commandments, I want to bring a whole bunch of Christians on here. I mean, he's doing it right now with Amy Coney Barrett, this evil Christian who's going to, and the Democrats right now, they're trying to suppress the ability for them to vote on that. So, you know what? You guys sat there and you're like, oh, well, the Republicans, shame on them about not wanting Obamacare and wanting to help people out and all these other different things. And they went on and voted. They went on and voted, and they didn't care if Democrat, well, because they had the majority. They had the majority and they had the president. Obamacare, boom, in. So why is it that Democrats can do this stuff but Republicans can't? Understand this. The only reason why that it's possible for Barrett to be confirmed today is because Democrats removed the rule where 60 votes were required to confirm a justice. They created the rules. Republicans are operating by the very rules created by them. But no, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about when the Democrats changes the rules to get what they want. And now look what they're doing today. They're changing the rules. They want to turn around. They don't want to show up to vote because of the fact that they want to stop this confirmation at any area. But no one wants to talk about that mutiny. No one wants to talk about that abuse of power. No one wants to talk about that recklessness because Orange Man bad. That's all you know. That's all you can focus on. And it's very, very, it's very troubling. And I'm really praying that we will turn around and start being unsilent about the hypocrisies. Well, you got to love Daily Mail, and just not Daily Mail. It's what CNN's been doing, and a lot of different places have been rewording and colorfully rewriting history or events to take a slant. I talked about it the other day on the Strong Tilt. Here's one I thought that was really interesting too. Is now there's this article out here because remember, Ellen was America's darling, right? And then all this information came out about Ellen and the whole idea of her being this evil, malevolent person. And no one wants to accept that. Now, Melania Trump basically, she comes in legally as an immigrant, becomes a U.S. citizen. Now, everybody wants to talk about her past and everything like that. I find it very interesting that the people who don't want to talk about the past of black people can easily talk about the past of the First Lady. We don't go there in the past of Barack Obama. We don't talk about his college transcript. We don't talk about him smoking pot. But talking about Melania Trump posing naked, we can talk about that all day long. Well, now you have her friend basically saying that Melania Trump was bothered by Beyonce being on the September issue of the Vogue. It's very interesting how certain secrets are fine to be revealed, but other ones are not. That is a biased indignation. That is, and God wants nothing to do with that. And we better change our attitude. We better change a whole lot. Listen, I'm your host, Watson Pretty for Battle for Freedom. Let's go to a break, and I'll talk to you on the flip side. This election will be vital to the health and sustainability of our country. Our role from this day on could steer the election in either direction. Why? The way we treat one another. In John 13:35, Jesus says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We know that every election cycle brings out the worst in us. If there was ever a point for honesty, it is in how we act during election season. As much as we would want our candidate to win, attacking a person with contrary opinions only makes them determined to reject our point of view all the more. It may come off as ignorant from them, but we cannot claim innocence if we allow arrogance and disrespect to be the means in which we communicate with those who support the other party or other candidates. Our goal was and will never be to convert voters. Our role is to give them the information needed prior to them casting their vote. It is their choice and right of what they do with that information. Understand, more people are aware of the political corruption and hypocrisy than they wish or want to admit. So there's nothing for us to prove. Choose to be people who invoke change rather than people who irritate and strain. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." In other words, give people the room to make their own mistakes. Without seeing that they were wrong, they would be blind to see what is right. Remember, every soldier present and gone have fought for the right of every American citizen to vote their own conscience. To insult and ridicule people for exercising their liberty to vote for their candidate is to also desecrate the efforts, memories, and sacrifices made by our heroes for said liberty. Please, show respect. Our nation depends on it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunay from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. Again, I appreciate all of you listening and tuning in. There's a million and one comments, and I'm loving this. A lot of people decided that they wanted to go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio to basically leave some comments, and I love them. They're really great. Appreciate every last one of you as you're sharing your comments. One of them, I just saw this during the break, and I thought it was really cool because Renee Marie said, maybe Hunter will work with Trump to bring down his father. You know what? That is very interesting. And that's actually could be probable. Because as you listen to the nature of those text messages, where he wasn't happy about his dad taking up to 50% of what belongs to him, you know what? I think you could be right on that. It's a possibility that he be frustrated. This is, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this. I'd really like to see where that could potentially go. Well, yesterday, I'm trying to figure out how you can see this here without me screwing this thing up here. So yesterday I had some fun. I was coming back from a friend's dad's viewing. He passed away this past weekend, and on my way back, I ran into somebody who was on the network, and you get a chance to hear his craziness. I'll be speaking for him this weekend, so this is the best portrayal of the video picture, but look who I ran into yesterday afternoon. So I proved to you the man, the myth, and the legend, Dominic Izzo. He is not a Russian bot. He is real. He's a real deal, and it was good running into him as he was on his way on a great trip that I'm praying that he has all the relaxation and fun that you can imagine, because of the fact that it was good bumping into him yesterday, and he's something else, man. He's a clown. I have a video as well too, and I'll make sure you guys can see that. But Dominic Izzo, the real deal, the man, the myth, and the legend. He is there, and we can enjoy him being out there. Listen, Raquel Lee, she's part of Room 13, comes on Sundays at 1 p.m. And this is the last time you'll hear her for the October auditions for What's it called? Open mic, mojo50.com/open mic. Go ahead and check it out. Rocky says, it is 2020. Every scenario is out there. It could be a possible one. Yes. Yes, it is a possible scenario, and anything can happen at this particular point in time. Not surprised. Let me go back into the thing for open mic. This is the last weekend. Last weekend, if you go to not Facebook, you go to mojo50.com/open mic, you get a chance to listen to Ain't You a Peach, Room 13, Tramping Through History, and also Damn It with Beaver. All those you can listen to and enjoy the different sounds and the different voices with Mojo 50 Radio. Take a listen to it, enjoy it. Trust me, I believe that you will have a great time. Speaking of Mojo 50 Radio, as many of the things that I've been sharing with you, maybe you can't get your mind around it. Maybe you can't wrap your mind around what you're hearing because it just sounds insane. Well, maybe you need some therapy from New Life Holistic. Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic. Yes, New Life Holistic. And again, this is what you need to do. Listen, there are going to be a lot of hurt people within the next 14 days. This is not going to be fun. I'm not lying to you. If you haven't decided to do so, please vote early. Vote in person. Do not go out on election. Well, if you want to go out on election day, go out on election day, but understand it is going to be a nightmare. This is one of the things that really gets me on this whole. So I talked about this yesterday. I was kind of bothered by how John Roberts decided to become, what is her name? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and basically side with the liberal side of the court, basically saying that Pennsylvania can have mail-in ballots show up after the 3rd. After Election Day. And here's something that I don't understand, because of the fact that everybody knows that the election is 2 weeks away. So explain to me, why is it that we could be fearful on wanting to get our checks in by April 15th so that we're paying the IRS, but something just as critical, if not more, is something that has these extensions? We can extend our time to vote? No. Put the vote in now. You could go in and vote in person now. You can mail in your ballot. You could send in your mail-in ballot now. The whole idea, and here, if it's that important to you, spend $8.50, put it in an envelope, priority mail, because for the post office that you want to trust so much. And again, I'm not saying that the post office is completely evil. I've met some really amazing people, and generally speaking, they get my mail delivered to me. If anybody screws anything up, it's usually with Amazon. Amazon usually has the trouble. But I did have a problem with one package that took a few days to show up, and we didn't know exactly what was going on there. So was it Amazon or was it the post office? I don't know. Someone was messing around, and we never figured out who it was. But I've had a couple shipments actually via Amazon, via the post office. Well, no, one was via straight Amazon delivery. The other one was post office. And within the last 2 months, both of them were delayed. But mostly everything else has showed up and arrived, and I'm appreciative of that. But as we sit here, we're watching this thing, I don't understand why it is that you guys, you're angry about because you want to extend the time to get the ballots in. The idea of wanting to get your ballots in after Election Day is like basically saying you want your efforts in 2021 to count for 2020. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. I don't understand why you're being angry here. You know, like our bills, you know, like when you pay rent and you're basically given a grace period until the 5th of the month to pay off your rent. You understand that anything that comes in after the 5th, you will be penalized a late fee. So why would you sit there and pay your, basically wanting your mail-in ballots to count after the 3rd is basically like saying I'm putting in my check for rent on the 6th, and I'll be angry if you charge me a late fee. You already know the time period to actually, and the grace period offered, there's no reason for you, and anyone who could have mailed in their ballots a long time ago, that you get angry about what's happening here. You've had literally 2, 3 months, 4 months to mail the stuff in. Even if you sent it in snail mail, that was on Quaaludes, a snail that was delivering your mail-in ballots who was high on Quaaludes or low on Quaaludes. It still would have made it there before the election day. Sorry. I'm just trying to make sense to all this. I'm just still trying to make sense of this. And thank you, Lep. Chapeau. I love that, man. This is just insane. Y'all need to be careful. Please vote. Please vote. We're going to try and vote early. My wife and we're going to vote early because of the fact that I think it's best that we just stay home and away from the craziness, because trust me, the crazy, it's on its way. Have a great day, Renee. I'll be on tonight from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Dominic Izzo. So if you want to come back for more insanity, please come back. And it's just crazy. OLEP is basically saying they have to give them extra time. Russia and Iran's mail systems are slow. Speaking of Russia and Iran, I'll get this. Any information exposing Hunter Biden is a Russian asset, Russian information that's being handed out, right? Now, this is what really gets me, is Russia only works when Russia is negative against the Democrat Party. Russia works, is not only a negative against the Democrat Party, but positive, but also negative. No. It doesn't work when it's negative against the Democrat Party, but it works when it's negative against Donald Trump. It's amazing, because right now, even you see, it's written, Putin's basically saying they love Joe Biden. They love his policies. It works exactly for them. But we don't want to accept that. No. Because you're Donald Trump's friend. You're Donald Trump's. Donald Trump is your puppet. They keep changing the narrative, and it's so hilarious. They can't keep up with trying to push and move. And the Word of God talks about the whole idea of the dangers of being taught. There become a point in time where people are just following utter foolishness, tossed and fro by the waves of the sea. And if anything, the media has been nothing but a tossy, wavy ride on indignation, truth, or what basically constitutes as truth. And it's hilarious. Do you realize I love what CNN, MSNBC/MSDNC, NPR, and all the other ones, what they're doing here, because do you recognize in their inconsistencies, in their inability to actually be truth tellers, they make it easier and they promote success for me and countless other different individuals. If you go to mojo50.com/schedule, you get a chance to hear all the different programs, all the different shows that are on this amazing network. You gotta love it. Obama. So here's the funny part about it. So Obama now is back out on the campaign trail. And he's basically slamming Trump, calling him a crazy uncle, a liar. And he makes this thing about being called Beijing, Beijing Obama, or whatever it was. And I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, if the president of the United States, and he can't even talk about China without him being called xenophobic, but Democrats can do it, and it's perfectly fine. Obama coming out. And in other words, instead of actually, see, you have to understand, Obama's out right now because he has to clean up the mess that his vice president's son has created for his administration. You remember that convenient thing that so many American citizens basically said, and they keep reiterating even to this moment. Obama was a drama. He was a scandal-free administration. I mean, no, we're not going to worry about Fast and Furious. We're not going to worry about Lois Lerner. We're not going to worry about the AP reporters basically being investigated, and their privacy interrupted. We're not going to talk about the $10 billion. Now, mind you, Donald Trump has spent about $5-6 trillion or allowed that to be spent during his administration. So we have to talk about that, folks. Let's not be silent. Let's not be silent about that. But and most of it has been this year because of the tragedy that's taken place. See, here's one of the things that, and don't think me insincere in this whole process, but it was never the government's job to bail Americans out in the midst of this tragedy. It was never this government's job to bail people out in the midst of this tragedy. But no one wants to hear that because we keep having this false understanding of what role the government plays in the lives of American citizens. Mitchell basically says the Obama administration and its outright arrogance shows many people the problem of the deep state. Yes, it does. Tyler basically says Russia is focus group tested to cause fear and other enragements of the low information voter. Using Russia causes a knee-jerk emotional response. That is why it is used so much. Yeah. Bravo. Slow clap. Everybody work with me on this. Yes, yes, yes. Because you have to understand the idea too. And the key word in that is causing a knee-jerk emotional response. See, this is the reason why the biases happen. This is the reason why you have to understand that we can mute evil, is because if I can keep people emotional, they'll never have a chance to slow down, respond, and say, hold on a second here. Wait. You're saying this is wrong, but when you guys did it, it's right? Wait, hold on a second. Let me slow down. Let me not be emotional. Let me actually think this stuff through. Oh, so wait. But you guys did. No. Was something else happened? Oh, I'm angry. You see that every time more and more news, you can't hide the truth. It's not just handle the truth. You can no longer hide the truth. People are being exposed. I'm going to even go far. I'm going to go there. Even, I think I said this yesterday, even Jeffrey Toobin, him being exposed, pun intended, was to divert attention away from the Biden laptop, from the Biden association to the Ukraine, to Russia, and to China. The China that, he's tough on. And again, mind you, I've talked nothing about the mute button that happens tonight. Let's record it. Let's just take it down. We know it's going to be biased. We know it's not going to work the correct way. And unfortunately, this is just the way that it happens. See, and now mind you, yesterday I told you about being focused, though, folks. Let the thing run off in the background. Let it be white noise if you have to do that. Because I was talking about prepping yesterday. I was talking about you staying focused on what you need to do. Please do not slow that pace in preparing for the worst case scenario. Because this election thing is going to be horrific. The landscape is crazy. Protect your family because the crazies are going to come out. They have no desire in hiding back their insanity. And if you want to be prepared on that, let's look at cat coolers. When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers. Cat Coolers. You want to get this? This is the direction you want to go. And I saw this really great comment here that I want to share with you folks in the midst of this, because this is true. And again, Saul Busarello, I don't know, male or female, but probably male. It's SOL. If people do not wake up by now, if people can't see what's going on, I just feel sorry for this country. It's looking more like a soap opera than real life. Bingo. But this is what happens when you choose to mute evil. Again, folks, think about this. What we've learned in the last couple of years alone, as crazy as COVID is, do you realize that COVID can be cured? We have, and yeah, don't talk to me about percentages and everything like that. No. Let's get real in the percentages. More than 9 out of 10 individuals survive COVID. But there are a lot of victims of sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, child abuse. Here in Indiana, I think they said the number of the percentage of domestic violence has risen like 84% because of COVID, because of lockdown. Because the abusers can't get out and do whatever they want to, so their victims are now more prey to their violence. But hey, we don't want to talk about that. Because we're going to flatten the curve. Something that was only supposed to take 2 weeks. I mean, remember, the experts said 2 weeks. But it didn't happen. Here we are, we're months later, not weeks, months later. And now, what was it? I saw here that now you're running into, where is that article? What is it? Spain. Spain, despite all the stuff that they're doing, to turn around and shut down or stop the flow of the coronavirus, of COVID-19, that in all the measures that they've taken, all the strict measures that they've taken, there's still an uptick, there's still a rise. So every time people tell you that masks don't stop it, when you see the studies that show that a lot of people who got COVID-19, as they surveyed a lot of people who had COVID-19, 77% of them had masks, and 3% of them didn't have masks. But we're going to keep shutting down. We're going to censor that stuff because we want people to believe. I mean, think about this. Think of the people who are making millions and millions and billions and billions of dollars right now via masks, via ventilators, via the drug companies. The drug companies who now can fast-paced get around the FDA process of putting the drugs in the market, but now we're going to create vaccines. The vaccine, I mean, think about this. The vaccine industry, those who are making their money in that avenue, they're going to be making trillions and trillions of dollars. Trillions and trillions of dollars. Because this has been pushed into the market. Mind you, again, the measures taken in countries, cities, counties around the world, it's not slowing the virus. It's not stopping it. In other words, maybe we're supposed to just let this thing take its natural course. What is it? Herd immunity? Is that what that whole thing means? Let it take its natural course and go from there. Oh, but guess what? This broadcast is about to be censored because I said that. This broadcast is because Watson, how can you not believe the science of the masks and everything like that? Here you go. Because I reposted this meme. Y'all will sit here and not believe the science of life in the womb. But you have the nerve to insult me and say that I have to believe the science of your masks? You will not believe the science of life in the womb, but I'm supposed to believe the science of life, of the mask. There's an evil There's an evil overtaking us, and many of you don't want to listen. Many of you don't care, and you know what? That's your choice of what you want to do. I can't make you do anything different. But evil will not be. Evil will remain as long as, what is it? Good people choose to do nothing. I sit here and I watch this, and it breaks my heart because of the fact that so many lives have been negatively affected because we've chosen to be silent on evil. We've chosen to be silent on the things that have been scourging our communities, our homes, and so much more. I'm praying that most of us will get a big dose of reality and basically say we're not going to tolerate this anymore. We can't be silent on the evil. I mean, think about this. As big as it was when those guys exposed Planned Parenthood for what they were doing and how they were selling baby parts, that was muted. The media muted that. Everything that is depraved in us and in this world, the media has gone out of its way to mute. Well, understand this. You're not going to shut down the movement that's been taking place out here. I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to skip that one here. Here is one I thought was really interesting. Jason Whitlock, I guess he's a sportscaster or sports announcer, and he basically says Trump is gaining momentum in the black community, or even amongst black men. Oh, it's happening. Not just black men, black women, Hispanics, you name it. See, the media is going to do everything they can to mute it. The media is going to basically celebrate when the peaceful demonstrators burning down our countries, but they will always ascribe hate and racism towards the movements that get behind and gaining support behind supporting the president. And even now, too, if you're black, you're a sellout. You're not a true, authentic black person by choosing to support this president of the United States of America. This is the language. This is the racist language. But whites in the media saying it feel comfortable because they've heard blacks saying it for so long. Joe Biden's infamous. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That right there is truly the most racist statement in this in this year, and said by a Democrat presidential candidate. And the media is silent about this. You can't get around this. How in the world can you ignore the reality of a rich old white man determining the authenticity of blackness because of which is determined by its allegiances to him and the Democrat Party? If there's any level of racism, what Judge said, what Trump said about the Mexicans, or what he said about that judge, what he did with the Central Park Five, what he did about not letting people rent Section 8 homes going into his buildings. Even though those are major stretches to allude that the President of the United States is racist, what Joe Biden said is all the racism that you need to know. And he felt comfortable saying it because the racism is strong in him. But we're going to mute his stuff. We're going to mute his. It's growing ground. They mute. I want to get into this too quickly before I get to my attitude of gratitude. There is this elderly woman. This woman pushes an elderly veteran holding a Trump sign. Media doesn't want to talk about the whole idea of. The media don't want us to talk about that. They want to talk about the evil that's taking place. Here is, on the attitude of gratitude, here's a person, again, send me your story to AOG, b4faog@gmail.com. I want to share something with you, and this was by Matthew McConaughey. This one was really very interesting as I look at this story. Matthew McConaughey talks about being molested at 18. He was knocked unconscious. Matthew McConaughey, he is a person who speaks of his faith. He is a person who speaks of the challenges and the struggles of life. But Matthew McConaughey not only does that, Matthew McConaughey chooses that he wants to help victims. If I'm correct, he's on one of the university campuses in Texas, and he drives around in a buggy. He started a program to get people safely back to their dorms because he wanted to end abuse. He wanted to end rape. He wanted to end so much because he's been a victim, and he didn't want any other person to be a victim. Matthew McConaughey is not muting the evils that affect our society, that turn around and destroy innocent minds and hearts. Be like Matt and not be silent against evil. Listen, Matt, I'm done for the day. And up next is Brad Staggs and Randolph the Gray. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom. Folks, I'm out.